What's up, guys? Welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be showcasing a beat that I just uploaded to my website, jasonbeats.com. It's very chill, very relaxed, inspired by Triple X Tentacion's very melodic and emotional side. It's kind of the track that you can, just cruise with at night and just vibe with. I'm going to go ahead and play it in a second, but the guideline that I just wanted to follow is that by the title, yes, this was made with just Native Instruments plugins. I'm a huge advocate for their instruments. I love this hardware right here. I love the hardware they make. This is a Control MK261. I can't wait to get my hands on the machine, but even more so, I just love their plugins, and I wanted to challenge myself. I wanted to challenge myself by showcasing, just the power of their plugins, and just go ahead and make something. A lot of people make really hard knocking stuff with their instruments, but I wanted to showcase the softer side. And with that said, let's go ahead and get into the beat so that way you can hear exactly how it sounds.
James. Get it, James.
Okay, great. So now that you've heard the beat, we're going to go ahead and get into how this was made using only Native Instruments plugins. So let's get into it. The first section, I went ahead and I started off the subline using my favorite all-time bass line and one of my all-time favorite plugins, period, or VSTs, period, virtual instruments, and that is Reactor 6's Monarch. This theme is sick. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. And the bass line that we went with here, very, very simple. It's a 3-note pattern. I'll solo it. That's it. Very, very basic. What I then did was I took the chord progression, this chord progression, and it's on Native Instruments' the Maverick piano. And I always have a piano when I compose or make a beat because I'm a very, I like to play piano a lot, so when I compose a beat, the progressions always start on the piano. And this was a chord progression. Very, very simple. Very good sounding piano, very emotional, but it just wasn't quite doing it for me like that. So what I did was I bounced it down to audio and then I reversed it. And we end up with this really cool sound. So the first version of the piano, which was the original and how it was originally composed, you can hear it, you can hear the song, but with this, you can feel the song. And that's the biggest thing for me. For me to listen to something, I have to feel it. And I felt like that helped a lot. So the last element I added to this was a very, very simple, kind of ambient, stable tone from Massive. And this is an ambient effect, and it basically builds up for the first 2 bars, and this is what it sounds like. It just gets louder and louder. So basically, that's kind of setting in the background and image process that out a bit, so that way it can create a sense of depth and space. So in the intro, that's what we hear. That's it. Just those 3 elements. Now we get into the verse 1. Verse 1, again, we have the same bass line going on at the bottom. And then we have the same chord progression. It's just got a little bit more going on there. Just 1 or 2 notes that are higher, that are just kind of peeking in here and there. And that, it sounds like this. I'll go ahead and play. That's it. This piano is normal. And then we have, for our percussion, we have a very simple snare. All these sounds that I'm going to be playing here, they are all coming out of battery 4. The only difference is going to be the kick, which I bounce down to audio. I always work off of audio when I work on my kicks, just because I like to see the transients. But the sample came from being played within battery. And that is going to sound like this with our percussion. Go ahead and get that there. This is our percussion for the verse. Very simple, with a slight groove complexity in the kick drum. So when you have all that together, you end up with this. But it's missing something. And that last thing that I found it was missing, I found in Razor, another Native Instruments Reactor 6 plugin instrument. And Razor is so cool for making these really cool, unique kind of effect instrument sounds. And what I found in here was this really nice bell sound, and that sounds like this by itself. This again was used in verse 1. So much better. So when we add that to our verse 1, we have space now. It helps it just reach another level, I feel, while still staying very simple. And so that's our verse 1 right there, all that together. And lastly, our pre-chorus 1. Now our pre-chorus 1 is the same as our pre-chorus 2. Same thing with verse 1, the same as verse 2, with the slight little change by adding 1 effect, but we'll get to that. Now pre-chorus 1 includes the intro reverse piano that you heard in the intro. That's also just been reapplied to the pre-chorus. The only thing though is that I also added again another one of those very what you heard in the intro, which was this. I added that to the pre-chorus just on its own note, and we end up with this. We went ahead and also added some keys from Massive within the pre-chorus, and that is this right here. Very, very mellow and dramatic. Those Massive keys really helped out. So combining those 2 together, along with that tonic tone, and we end up with a pretty mellow pre-chorus. Now, going on to the chorus. This was an idea I had from the beginning. I'll go ahead and I'll just play the subline and the main chords, and you'll hear that right here. And and that just loops. It's a 3-chord pattern and it just loops. That consisted of what we have here, a massive preset, which is called isotonous, and that one is stock in Native Instruments. And then I also use, again, the sub, and that just played the underlining part. And then to pulsate it, I grouped them together and added an LFO on the grouped master sum track. And then when we get to the next part, again, we added another one of those ambient, just stable tones in the chorus. So that's lying at the bottom, and then I image processed it out and to create depth and space again, and added some distortion to give it some grittiness. And so far with just those three, we have this. Go ahead and get that. We have this so far. But we need drums, of course. So we go to do our drums now, and the drums consist of, again, battery kits. But these kits are very, very, very simple. The groove is very simple, you'll see that. A little bit more complex than verse 1, but we still maintain a simple groove. So simple. But when you add that with what we already have so far, you end up with this. We're getting somewhere. Now the last thing that I went ahead, or I should say the second to last thing, because there's 2 more things I added. The second to last thing I added was this pad from Native Instruments, Massive again, and this is called Sour Diesel. And this is a very ambient sound that's hiding out in the background. And this sounds like this. Very chill, very mellow. I found it to be perfect. And that again is playing the same chord progression, not the main chords within the first Massive that are LFO'd are playing. So the real last thing that I ended up adding was a vocal bed, and this was taken from a library within Native Instruments' Contact. I added this because even with that Sour Diesel pad, we could hear the track and we could start to feel it, but we weren't truly immersed in it. At least I wasn't. So I wanted to add something on top that kind of gave more ambience to it, while also providing enough room for a vocal feature, like a real vocalist, on top of it. And that came from this. I'm going to go ahead and play it right now. It's got a pickup. So odd, so weird, so just on its own, it doesn't stand well to the ear. But in context with the rest of the track, you end up with this. And I'll play it 4/4 so you hear how it picks up into there. So much better. I think it just really took the track to the next level. But yeah, that's what I went ahead and where I ended it right there as far as production for the chorus, because I felt like we were already at a point where it's enough on the track's part and the rest can be filled. There's enough space for a vocalist. Now going into the second verse, it was actually bridged by a revamp of the intro. So basically we took the reverse piano and we applied it right after the chorus, and then I took this kind of vinyl sample out of Battery and I applied a kick at the very bottom of it, just a very simple kick, nothing complex, just to keep the rhythm going, and then kept that subline there. So I'll play the last 4 beats of the chorus and how it blends in to the verse 2 through this bridge. So smooth. I love that. I'm all about smooth transitions between sections. I love that. I feel like when you're transitioning between sections, you're like a surgeon and you have to stitch it up perfectly. At least that's how I like to do it. It's not no right or wrong way. That's just how I like to do my own productions. But that's the bridge between chorus 1 and verse 2. And verse 2 is the exact same thing as verse 1, pre-chorus 2 is the exact same thing as pre-chorus 1. And then the real difference is where we get into chorus 2, which is our last repetition of the chorus. And that consists of everything in chorus 1 plus one thing. And that one thing is going to be this right here. It is a preset taken from Massive. And this is from a preset that I got from Splice. And it's from the Vibes 2 sample pack. It's called ABV. And I took the same chords that are being played in the LFO'd Massive, the first instance of Massive, the LFO'd chords, and I just applied them to this instance of Massive, and we end up with this. Very gentle, fragile, but ambient almost chord tones. So I went ahead and I image processed that out as well to create a sense of depth that wasn't there in the first one, in the first chorus, and we end up with this. Just slightly more thicker than the first chorus. Now, the last section of the song was the ending, the outro. And what I did here was I took, again, the intro reversed piano, and I applied that to the outro, but I also applied, again, that same vinyl crackle, and then again, that very stable, airy tone from Massive. And we end up with these three elements. And it goes like this. I'll play each one individually so you see what I mean. That's the stable tone. Nothing interesting there. It's simply for ambience. And this is a reverse piano, as you're already familiar with. And then lastly, our vinyl crackle. Apply all three, and this is how we end up with our outro. I'll start 4 before so you hear how it blends together. And that is it. That is the track. That is the beat. It is done. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I definitely had some fun making this. It was inspired by the softer, more emotional, melodic side of XXX Tentacion, and I just really went to town on this. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If y'all have any suggestions about how y'all could have arranged it or produced it differently, please do let me know. I'd love to see what y'all would have done. I'm definitely open to suggestions. Once again, the beat is for sale on my website, jsmbeats.com. The MP3 wave format and trackouts are all available there. But nonetheless, I want to thank you so much for coming and checking out this video and taking your time to just enjoy this beat with me and look at how I went about doing it. Go ahead and subscribe if you'd like to, and I look forward to seeing you in the future on our next video. Y'all take care. Peace.